You're on the best of the morning X. Barnes, Leslie, and Jimmy. 99X.
The light came in. I could see this knobby room, which we later called the knobby torture room. And there were racks up above. There were meat hooks hanging from the rafters. There were old medieval type irons and manacles and stocks around the room. And I could see these things, and I said, well, this has got to be a storage room.
You're always sitting either on the floor or on a stool or a concrete block or something low. The interrogator is always behind a table that's covered with cloth of some kind, white or blue or something. And he sits above you and is always looking down at you, asking you questions. And they want to know what the targets are for tomorrow, next week, next month. You don't know. You really don't know. But he's going to have an answer of some kind. Out of the back of the room comes the torturer, and he's a big guy that knows what he's doing, and he just starts locking your elbows up with ropes and tying your wrists together and bending you. There's a point where you're completely had it, where you lose control of your bowels, you throw up, you'll sell your mother down the river in a heartbeat. And there's a point everybody reaches that you decide, I've had it. I got to do something to get out of this program. And like me, like most everybody, we started telling them stories. We made up targets. I had them bombing footbridges in China over creeks, which I knew weren't real targets.
Kevin McManus, how many years at the Hanoi Hilton? 5?
Was it 5.5, Kevin, that you spent as a POW?
Right.
Could you keep track of time?
Yes, but it's strictly day by day.
When you were shot down over Hanoi, what were your injuries that were sustained just from being shot down itself?
The only real injury was a compressed spine.
And
do they treat you at all, or they just throw you in?
No treatment.
And had you heard about what was going on inside these camps? Did you have any idea what might happen to you if you were taken captive?
We had a pretty good idea. They send you through 1 week of training camp where they put you in a mock prison. Mm-hmm. And the Air Force had a pretty good idea. I mean, it was reasonably good.
But when you got there, the extent to which the torture sessions took place, I'm guessing, had to be far and above what you even expected, even what they could prepare you for.
Oh yes, yeah. The torture, especially the ropes, was much more extensive than anything.
Does it start immediately when they capture you? I mean, boom, you're in, and they just work you.
Right, correct. As soon as you get down to that description you just heard was what we called Heartbreak Hotel. And as soon as you get down there, they start right in.
And do you recall, was your first session the worst session just because you didn't know what to expect?
Yes, the first week is by far and away the worst.
And
just because you don't know what's coming?
You don't know what's coming. It's round the clock. They keep you awake 24 hours. Every time you try to fall asleep, they whap you around, throw water at you. They force you to stay awake.
When do you finally get to sleep?
When you go unconscious. It's almost the only time.
I was watching this thing last night, Return with Honor, and one of the gentlemen was talking about how there comes a point where the body can only endure a certain amount of pain to where you become numb to it.
Correct.
And you would almost hope to get to that point, I'm guessing.
You would. The one bad part was part of the rope trick was to always put a couple of loops around your neck and put you in a position where you actually, if you relaxed at all, you would choke yourself. That was probably the scariest part of the ropes. The pain part was much easier to take than the choking part.
Would you ever fake unconsciousness and hope that they wouldn't know that?
If I could have done it, I probably would have, but I don't think I felt smart enough to pull it off.
What were some of the things that you do when you're put in solitary to stimulate your mind?
You do everything from, initially you count bricks and things like that. Ultimately, you start, you build houses. If you're an engineer, actually, everybody built houses. You
Really?
build houses. Yeah.
And you mean like literally brick for brick?
Literally brick by brick. You figure out every piece of lumber, all the dimensions, and you remember it all because you do it so many times and you make changes. And some guys actually came back and built the houses that they had ultimately designed.
Is it tough for you to recount these stories even today? Did it take a long time for you to wipe a lot of it out of your mind?
No. No to both. It's one, it's not tough, and two, I think I forgot everything as soon as I finished my debriefing after I came back. I mean, it's very difficult for me to remember.
Really?
Things today.
But like I'm guessing you have physical scars still that
Correct.
You probably have to see every day when you look in the mirror. And when you see, let's say, a scar on your back or that came from being whipped, do you immediately recall where that scar came from?
No, not at all. Don't even think about it.
How long
One of the kids asks.
How long were you there before you wanted to die?
Probably about 3 days.
Would it have been tough to commit suicide?
It would have been for me, yes.
Knowing the endless infinity of pain that still awaited you? I mean, you didn't know...
But I very quickly learned that the pain wasn't the hard part. The hard part was just not feeling comfortable with how well I was doing. But the pain, when you reach a level of pain, the body just shuts down, and so it really wasn't a problem.
What is solitary confinement like?
I didn't mind solitary so much. In fact, but at the same time, I was only in solitary for a little less than 3 months. We had guys up there who were in solitary for close to 4 years.
How old were you at this time?
Oh, I was 23 when I went in and 30 when I came out.
Because, like, just regular confinement, being in the normal cell, were you in there by yourself?
For the first almost 3 months, I was in solitary, correct.
And but then when you're put in, I guess it's like the general prison population, you have, what, a cellmate?
2-man cells for 2 years, and then we went to a 4-man cell. And then after the Sante raid in November 70, we went to 50-man cells. And
in solitary, it's pitch black, right?
No, there's one small light bulb that's always on, way up at the top.
And do you get a 15-minute like a yard break each day, or?
No, you get about a 20-minute yard break twice a week to wash and shave.
And food,
Food you get twice a day, rice and soup.
Every time, rice
basically.
and soup.
What did you weigh when you finally left?
I went in, I was around 220, and when I came out, I was less than 165.
More of this interview you don't want to miss is back in minutes on the Best of the Morning X 99X.